Today on Rappler. Vice President Sara Duterte faces a plunder complaint over the alleged misuse of her confidential funds. The NBI requests an Interpol Red Notice against former lawmaker Zaldy Co. Under fire for alleged extortion, the Tax Bureau says tax audits will require the approval of the BIR chief. The Department of Justice is flagged for granting refugee status to Chinese fugitives wanted for financial crimes. And Meghan Markle sends a letter to her estranged father who is in a hospital in the Philippines. Members of civil society groups and the church filed a plunder complaint against Vice President Sara Duterte with the Office of the Ombudsman. This over Duterte's alleged misuse of her confidential funds as Vice President and when she was Education Secretary. Apart from plunder, the complaint also includes the following allegations against the Vice President and some officials from her office and DepEd. Violation of the Anti-Graft and Corrupt Practices Act, malversation of public funds, bribery and/or corruption of public officials, betrayal of public trust, and culpable violation of the 1987 Constitution. A legislative inquiry revealed that contingent funds of the 2022 national budget were used for the OVP's 125 million peso confidential funds. Duterte's office spent it all in just 11 days. The issue of confidential funds was also one of the grounds for the ill-fated impeachment complaint filed earlier against the Vice President. The National Bureau of Investigation has requested the issuance of an Interpol Red Notice against former lawmaker Zaldy Co. The Bureau confirms on Friday, December 12, it has already made the request as early as November 23. In November, the Office of the Ombudsman filed graft and malversation cases against Co and 17 others. This over an anomalous flood control project in Nauhan, Oriental Mindoro. The charges are now pending with the Sandigan Bayan, which issued warrants against all the accused. A red notice is a request to law enforcement worldwide to locate and provisionally arrest a person pending extradition, surrender, or similar legal action. Although it's considered an international warrant, Interpol members can choose to act on the notice or not. Bureau of Internal Revenue Commissioner Carlito Mendoza says all letters of authority will now require his approval before they are issued. This as part of ongoing audit reforms to prevent its misuse. The BIR is under scrutiny following reports that LOAs were used to extort bribes from businessmen and other taxpayers. Senators J.V. Ejercito and Erwin Tulfo claimed that BIR personnel kept as much as 70% from these collections. Before the announcement, LOAs, which signaled the start of a tax audit, were issued at the regional level.
Right now po, when it comes to the issuance of letters of authority by the regional directors, meron po silang absolute authority to issue letters of authority and hindi na po ito umaakyat sa commissioner for approval or prior clearance.
Mendoza also says the BIR plans to limit the number of LOAs the taxpayers can receive to prevent its misuse.
These improvements, many of which can be enabled with the help of an integrated digital system, will reinforce the checks and balances between enforcement and oversight.
The Department of Justice is flagged for a pattern of granting refugee status to Chinese fugitives wanted for financial crimes. The office concerned is the DOJ Refugees and Stateless Persons Protection Unit or RSPPU. In a privileged speech Wednesday, December 10, Senator Risa Ontiveros says the pattern suggests either a serious failure in our screening mechanism or deliberate facilitation, whether through neglect, influence, or corruption. The DOJ, through spokesperson Polo Martinez, tells Rappler the RSPPU would rather address the issue before the Senate Committee on Justice next week. Under the DOJ's Department Circular Number 058, a mere application for asylum triggers the suspension of any deportation proceeding. The Philippines is signatory to the United Nations Convention relating to the status of refugees and has a long tradition of protecting foreigners who are fleeing war and persecution in their home countries.
This is not an isolated loophole. This is an insidious pattern, a modus, a deliberate exploitation of our asylum system. Ang nakakakaba pa, most of these bad actors are still in the Philippines. Who dropped the ball here?
Meghan Markle says she managed to send a letter to her estranged father who is in a hospital in the Philippines. This despite the British tabloid The Daily Mail supposedly reporting from his bedside, which Markle's camp calls a breach of clear ethical boundaries. Thomas Markle, Meghan's father, is reported to be in hospital in the Philippines having a leg amputated. Given the reporter's presence, a spokesperson for Markle says, quote-unquote, it has been difficult for the Duchess to contact her father privately. With the support of reliable and trusted contacts, her correspondence is now safely in his hands. The Daily Mail group vehemently denies the accusation. The newspaper says its reporter, Caroline Graham, had been friends with Thomas Markle since 2018, and he had asked her to come. The accusation comes weeks before Meghan's husband Prince Harry starts his privacy lawsuit against the Daily Mail's publisher. And that's today's wrap. I'm JC Gotinga. Thank you for watching. Click the link below for the full story. For more updates, download the Rappler app.